Welcome to Ask a Lawyer with Kurt Holzer of Hepworth Holzer, life-changing law in Boise, Idaho. Kurt is a past recipient of the Idaho Trial Lawyer of the Year and has a perfect 10 rating from AVO. Each week, Kurt answers your questions about the law and how it affects you.
What is medical malpractice?
Medical malpractice is negligence by a healthcare provider. We use the term malpractice, meaning practice that's done wrong or practice that's done inappropriately, but it simply means a violation of the appropriate standard of care by the provider that causes an injury to a patient or the person that the provider is taking care of. Much like in some ways, it's similar to a car collision. The standard of care in dealing with a car collision is you have to stop at the stop sign. So if you cause an injury by not stopping at the stop sign, you've breached the standard of care for driving. And there are similar standards in the medical arena.
What are examples of medical malpractice?
Sure. Yeah, the simple ones are ones we've heard of. A surgeon leaves a sponge inside you that leads to an infection, or they operate on your left knee when they're supposed to operate on your right knee. Those are the very simple, straightforward ones. Medical care, though, is substantially more complex than that. And, what happens is it merely a risk of the surgery or the intervention or the medical care that your bowel is nicked that leads to a sepsis situation in the body? Or is that malpractice that they should never do that? What about if the knee surgery is performed and your knee still doesn't work? Is it malpractice or is it merely a risk? And being able to evaluate that the injury or the negative outcome you have was caused by the inappropriate behavior of the healthcare provider, that's the essence of evaluating malpractice.
Okay, so Kurt, how can I determine if a doctor, hospital, or other healthcare provider has committed medical malpractice?
And this is really the key in the medical malpractice arena. Did they do something wrong? Has there been malpractice? And it's one of the reasons that this type of litigation is extremely expensive and requires specialists on the legal side and on the medical side, because neither you as a patient nor myself as an attorney can really reach the conclusion that a provider has committed medical malpractice without an expert coming in. And in our state, in Idaho, the law actually requires, the legislature has said there has to be an expert. That means somebody who has the appropriate training, experience, knowledge, background to look at this provider, whether it's an orthopedic surgeon or a heart surgeon or a gastroenterologist or a nurse, and say this person broke the rules, committed malpractice by doing this the wrong way. They didn't live up to the standard of care. So the only real way to determine is to hire an expert to evaluate your situation. And having relationships with those experts willing to do that is one of the things that experienced medical malpractice lawyers have and people what we will work with and will help us understand the medicine.
So whom can I sue for medical malpractice? Is it the doctor, the hospital? I mean, who is it?
The answer is who committed the malpractice. With hospitals, these days, a lot of times the doctor is an employee of a hospital. And just like the employee of a pizza delivery operation, the pizza delivery operation is responsible if they cause the car wreck. If the doctor is an employee of a hospital, you can sue the hospital for the doctor's actions. But some doctors work for themselves. Sometimes it's a separate sub-entity that is contracted with the hospital. This is actually one of the arenas that we have to make sure we don't make the mistake and sue the wrong person. Deciding who the appropriate defendant is in a medical malpractice litigation situation can sometimes be fraught with real risk that you've named the wrong person, because you only have 2 years from the date in which somebody hurt you in which to pursue your claim. So if you sue the wrong person and the time runs, your case gets thrown out against the person that shouldn't be sued, and the person who did do wrong gets away with it.
Why should I come to you for help?
Well, there is no law firm in Idaho that has a longer or more storied history in taking care of people who have been wronged by healthcare providers. No firm has even close to the history of litigation results and successes that my partner, Charlie Hepworth, he's the leader of our group and our medical malpractice group. He has more success, has gotten more larger verdicts, the largest medical malpractice verdicts in the state of Idaho. There's nobody better. And our approach is to focus on our clients, to focus on you as the person who needs the help, and then to bring our technical expertise to bear and bring our relationships with healthcare providers to bear to help evaluate your case, to pursue your case if it's a case that can be reasonably pursued under the law. You should come to us because we're the best, plain and simple.
Thanks for listening to Ask a Lawyer with Kurt Holzer at Hepworth Holzer, life-changing law in Boise, Idaho. Join us next time as Kurt answers your questions about the law and how it affects you. Attorney Holzer can be reached at 208-343-7510. His website is hepworthholzer.com.